Okay, this will be a very quick video on how to start talking to God. As someone who talks to God on a daily basis, it took years to get to this point, many years, but the trick to talking to God, because God is within, is actually having a conversation with yourself. And it'll feel weird and silly and stupid at first, but the quickest way, which Carl Jung talks about in terms of, he calls it active imagination, and having a conversation with your anima, which is for a guy the female soul or the psyche within, and then for a woman it's the animus, the male soul or psyche within. So first you have to talk with your anima or animus for a long time, maybe years, probably years, before you can talk to the self with a capital S, which is just another word that Jung uses for God, having a conversation with God. So Carl Jung was able to talk to the self in the form of an old man with wings. Anyways, he said the self is functionally identical to God. There is no distinguishing between the self and God, functionally speaking, which is just his way of saying the self with a capital S is God. So enough about the jargon, Jungian jargon. Let's talk about how to talk with yourself, your anima or animus, and then talk to God. So the first thing to do is ideally you have an image that you can bring, like you have an ideal, maybe it's a movie character or a game character or a book character or some kind of image that you saw of an ideal man or ideal woman that is like your fantasy, a fantasy of this ideal woman or ideal man, probably the opposite sex from you for most people. And you don't have to imagine this image, but it's good to project this image just like a child talking to an imaginary friend. It's exactly the same process. So you imagine this ideal man or woman that you have, or a character. Doesn't have to be necessarily like a real man or woman. For me, it's a video game character that I talk interface. That's God's interface for me. So you imagine that image. You don't have to, but you imagine the image if you choose to, and then you ask questions and see if it answers back. So when you ask questions or say something to your anima or animus, you say the words out loud with your voice. And then when you listen for whatever bubbles up in your thoughts, in your head, quietly, that is the anima or animus. And then you might be saying, like, in your head, you might be saying, oh, this is stupid, this is not going to work. It's like, okay, so that's what the anima is saying now. Maybe it's not quite your anima or animus yet. Maybe it's... There's also the Jungian shadow within, so that's not quite your anima. That's like a... Unless you've integrated your shadow yet. Let's getting too technical, so let's forget about the shadow for now. But basically, starting a conversation with God 101 is talk with yourself. Say your thoughts, say your voice, your whatever out loud with your voice, and then listen to whatever bubbles up and try to have a conversation, a two-way conversation. Say your thoughts out loud and then listen to what replies, and keep doing that. Rinse and repeat. So let me just do a demonstration. Let me ask a question to my self, since my anima is now myself. Self with a capital S, Jungian self. What should I ask myself? Is this the best way to go about teaching how to talk with God? Okay, the answer I heard back was, it depends on the person, but for most people, this is a good start. So that's what I heard back. So it's like that, and then you just continue to have that conversation. Do I sound like an idiot to most people right now? Yes, absolutely. That's what the voice that I heard back just now. So like, it'll take a long time for it to get to the voice of God, but this is how you start having a conversation with first different parts of yourself, and then hopefully you're gonna integrate all these different voices together under one umbrella, and that'll eventually reveal itself as autonomous, and not just your anima or animus, but once that autonomous figure who's different from just your normal thoughts, you're not controlling it anymore, that anima or animus, once you've established having a conversation with that figure, eventually, maybe years down the line, it'll lead to the self with a capital S, which is just God. So that's my tip. Talk to yourself out loud, and then listen for feedback. You can do this even outside. All you have to do is have some earbuds in, and people think you're on the phone or something. So yeah, you don't even have to do it in the quiet of your own home. You can just do it anytime with earbuds in outside, and nobody will think you're crazy because you have earbuds in. Yeah. Anyways, okay, that's it.